Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Mark Anderson of Nevada Industry Excellence. More on economic growth in all new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers is brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Pro Group Management, and the Retail Association of Nevada.
How do you shed some light on a better economy? Start with growth inspired by Valley Electric Association. We're a member-owned power company that puts Nevada first, and we're doing big things, like providing prosperity by securing renewable energy projects. For Nevada, that means more jobs and more opportunities, all for a strong statewide economy. In other words, together, we're doing powerful things. Visit us at vea.coop to learn more.
I'm Paul Enos, CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association. Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're pleased to welcome for the first time to the program Mark Anderson. He is the newly minted director of Nevada Industry Excellence at UNR. Pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
It's great to be here, Sam.
Want to start out with your previous life. You were working for Panasonic here in Northern Nevada over the last 3 years. And a lot of people, they know Tesla and they're excited about Tesla and Switch and Google and Apple. But Panasonic is a major player here in Northern Nevada. They are definitely a solid partner with Tesla.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of people don't know that what Panasonic does out at the Gigafactory is they make all of the battery cells for Tesla. And then what Tesla does is they take those completed, tested battery cells and they put those into the modules that then go into their final vehicle assembly in Fremont, California. So Panasonic, probably when all is said and done, will have almost half of the employees out at the Gigafactory and probably takes up about 65 to 70% of the footprint of the plant. So very much a partnership out there.
And it's remarkable, according to published reports, this plant is eventually going to be about 16 million square feet.
Yeah, it's epic. In fact, when I was out there, my office was basically my backpack because I might have a meeting on one end of the plant and have to make it to the other end of the plant, and that could be a 3/4 mile walk from one meeting to the other. And so my laptop and my backpack was my office, but it's a epic scale out there.
Somebody referred to it recently as the Winchester House.
No, not at all.
No, but I mean, not in a crazy tourist way,
right.
But in the fact that as new ideas come up, they keep expanding out the factory, upward and outward, with all these new and different ideas that are coming up.
Exactly, and that's true. I think everything out there has a purpose to it. And for example, phase one of the plant, there were kind of temporary walls out there because they knew they were going to be expanding out into the parking lot. But yeah, there's this master plan. But when all is said and done, I think it's going to be either number one or number two in size of factories in the world. It'll be rivaling the Boeing 747 plant in Washington.
Which is just stunning. I mean, just that statistic alone is just stunning.
Yeah, and you think about it, because, I grew up in Nevada. I left here when I was 18. There was not a lot of manufacturing here. And to think that, here in Northern Nevada, we have the world's largest, most advanced manufacturing facility coming online and now really producing mass production batteries and these battery packs for Tesla. It's incredible growth and incredible opportunity for our state. And
it appears that we are getting very close to, at minimum, autonomous vehicles coming out of that factory.
Oh yeah, I think you're going to see autonomous vehicles. Already they have quite a bit of this. I wouldn't say it's a take your hands off and eat a sandwich type of situation in a Tesla, but I know that the self-driving mode on the vehicles is already pretty advanced. And, I think there's some misconceptions about it because it's more of a safety feature than anything. Let's say you've worked well, let's just give an example, 16 hours out at the Gigafactory for the day, you're driving your Tesla back home and you're tired, it really is like driver assist. But I think we're not far away from that. And the cool thing is there's a lot of things happening right here at UNR's campus. Our NCAR, which is the Nevada Center for Applied Research, they're doing a ton of work right now on autonomous vehicle technology. And hopefully down the road, we may even be able to work with Tesla on those things.
And I want to get back to that in a minute, but there was just a couple of other interesting facts that I wanted to touch on. One is the number of Panasonic workers that are actually out at the Gigafactory, and that they're being accommodated in a lot of ways by hotel casinos. They're taking out large blocks of room at some of these bigger properties, and it's been great for the tourism economy in Northern Nevada with residential.
Yeah, it's absolutely been a boon, I think, across the economy. There's always a ripple effect anytime you have something of this nature come up. Right now, we have a lot of construction people, a lot of people from Japan or other countries that may be coming in to help train the workforce, get the machinery up and running, and they may not be here long term. So the casinos, the hotels have really seen a boom. And then, as you know, housing is booming, and I think we have some challenges there we have to face as well.
To say the least, and expanding I-80 will be one of those.
Absolutely.
Lance Gilman was on the program talking about double-decker on the freeway, which would be very interesting. And it's interesting that it's not just Tesla and Panasonic, but there are other suppliers to the Gigafactory who are major suppliers.
Right. I mean, right now on site, you have Valeo, which is a major player. You have H&T, which makes battery cans, and a host of other companies that are either on site or off site that are making product. And our hope is that as much of that product can be made right here in the state of Nevada. That's where you see that ripple effect on the economy.
Were you surprised at the announcement from Blockchains LLC that they had bought up half of the land available at TRI?
I think like a lot of people, blockchain technology is kind of a little bit of a black box or mystery to me. I think it's really cool, and I wish I would have bought Bitcoin about 18 months ago. But I think in a lot of ways it really makes sense because I think the technology that goes into blockchain technology, this whole cryptocurrency thought process, is that it's going to make transactions and cybersecurity a lot easier for financials. And with all of the data centers and all of the different things that are happening here, it seems to make sense to me. I'm not sure what they're going to do with all the land they buy, but I think it's a real good fit for Nevada. Well,
what Lance was saying was that they're essentially going to take over the role that TRI had, which is that they're going to sell the land to other people, and the requirement will be that the people who buy the land will have to use the blockchain technology.
That makes sense. And, the nice thing is that I think one of the growth industries that we're going to see happening in the state of Nevada over the next decade or two is going to be things like blockchain technology. What goes along with that is, that's even getting into, manufacturing technology, cybersecurity, those types of things where you're getting a lot of this Internet of Things, economy that's coming, and it seems to fit really well with the direction the state's going in.
And I try to tell people when describing blockchain, when in the old days when you picked up the phone and you got dial tone, you just made the phone call. You didn't question how the dial tone got there.
Right.
Now with your cell phone, you're on there listening to iHeartRadio or whatever, and you're not questioning where that's coming from or where your GPS is coming from. Blockchain is essentially a ledger.
Right.
A form of accounting, and it's a crypto form of accounting. But most of us, I think that's a simple enough explanation that we don't have to go into the super details.
Exactly.
Unless you want to go to McDonald Carano's seminar that they're having this week.
That's right.
Which is sold out, by the way. All right, let's take a break. Let's come back with more. We've got a terrific discussion going with Mark Anderson, and we'll be right back.
St. Ives Florist, for every holiday and every special occasion. For romance. Custom home design. We have the largest selection of fresh flowers in Northern Nevada. And we also offer a large selection of unique gift items. Come see me, Lori Ann, at St. Ives Florist, 700 South Wells Avenue, or call me at 333-9190.
Sully's Sports Bar inside the Tamarack Junction is South Reno's headquarters for locals to watch all your favorite sports. And now you can enjoy your favorite team on our brand new high-def TVs featuring the Papa, the big daddy of them all. It's our giant 17-foot big screen TV wall. And we have two 79-inch high-def TVs, 12 65-inch high-def TVs, including 2 party booths for your own private party, and 6 high-def private booth TVs. Bring in your own headphones and listen to your favorite game right from your own seat. First, make your bets in our William Hill Sportsbook, then enjoy your favorite cold beer, libations, burgers, wings, pizza, and our signature build-your-own Bloody Mary bar. Then settle in and download our app and listen to any game being shown in Sully's Sports Bar. Catch your favorite team on our new high-def big screen TVs. Sully's Sports Bar is the only place to watch your favorite sports all year long. The Tamarack Junction, just north of the Summit Mall in South Virginia.
It's Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're continuing our conversation with Mark Anderson. He's the director of the Nevada Industry Excellence at UNR. Tell us what that is, and why did you leave Panasonic to go to UNR?
That's a great question.
That's what I'm famous for. Just kidding.
Well, just a little bit about my background. I grew up in Nevada, lived here till I was 18 years old, and then ended up moving away for almost 30 years working in the Japanese automotive industry. And one of the goals I had was to eventually come back to the state of Nevada and help build the economy where I grew up. And so the opportunity to be the first American on the ground on the Panasonic side was really a wonderful opportunity. And, there was a friend of mine that once said that, the sign of a good life and a good career is that you get to plant trees that you might not necessarily stand or sit in the shade for. And I felt like, I'd given an awful lot to Panasonic and to the Tesla project out there. We had it up and running. We had a very strong core team, strong leadership, and I think things were moving in the right direction, and really felt like with the resources that were there, I could probably at this point help the state more if I was to expand into this role, because with this role, I have the opportunity to work with manufacturers and other industries throughout the entire state, from all the way from the north tip of the state down to southern Nevada. So for me, I grew up in a small town. I grew up in Carson City. I love small manufacturers, even though I've spent some time in larger manufacturers, and to be able to give them the types of resources they need to grow their business, be competitive, be lean in the things that they do was really compelling to me. Great opportunity.
Well, and it's interesting too, having lived here as long as I have. I moved to Reno in 1978 and was interested in economic redevelopment in the downtown area especially. And I remember talking to an expert in that field and saying to him, how long does that take? And he said 30 years. And the reality is that that's how long it has taken, is 30 years to get to where we are now. And it didn't take that long for TRI, because that was 20 years. But that was an unexpected shock because of Tesla and the effect of all of that. But when you look down, are you familiar with Apex in Southern Nevada?
Yes.
Okay. So, it seems to me that the real secret of TRI's success was Roger Norman putting all the infrastructure in place. So that when you came there, it was all there. You got a grading permit, you were off to the races. And Apex is still struggling to bring out water, fiber, all the other things that they need.
Yeah, and I think there's always those infrastructure struggles that happen. I think while that's a struggle, I think one of the biggest challenges that we have as a state, and one of the reasons why I felt it was so important to join NVIE, is that we have so much growth that is coming, and we have a workforce that we have to get ready for it. And that is everything from, entry-level, production-level employee to automation employees, engineers, as well as those, IT people that are going to be helping machinery talk to each other. There is so much that's coming in the way of advanced manufacturing that I think our biggest challenge, beyond probably even infrastructure resource, which is definitely a big challenge in and of itself, is we have a workforce we have to get ready. And I think also one of the things we have to do is to help people understand how different manufacturing is than what people's perception often is.
Right.
I've been in manufacturing for 25 years, and I've met some of the most exciting, interesting, and talented people, and been able to see a lot of the world and to do some pretty incredible things. And I think people sometimes don't view manufacturing like that, and we need to change people's perceptions. And
that's going on with the construction industry as well. It's a terrible situation where we have forced upon, several generations now. You got to get a college degree. You got to get a college degree. When in fact, the reality is that is not suitable for everybody, and that there are fine jobs in engineering, in construction, that will give you a very good middle class to potentially upper class life if you get into those fields. It also is interesting. We've got about a minute left here. That there was almost, I don't want to say a lie, but I'm going to, that if our education system was not up to snuff, that companies wouldn't come here. And the exact opposite is true. We didn't change the education system very much, and yet all these major companies have come here. But what the interesting result for me was that they have now gone to the school district, to the university system, and said, okay, this is what we need. The education part doesn't come first, it comes second.
Yeah, and I think it's that whole chicken egg, conversation. I think there have been people within the state who've been working behind the scenes for a long time to put some of this infrastructure there. But, again, sometimes education comes first, sometimes the industry comes first. And I think if we look at it here, the thing I love about Nevadans, having lived in the Midwest for a long time, the work ethic of Nevadans reminds me a lot of that Midwestern work ethic. We will get where we need to be. I have every confidence in Nevada. Nevada people, home means Nevada as far as I'm concerned. And we really want to grow manufacturing with the people that are within the state, and then welcome those who want to become part of the Nevada family to come here as well. But I have every confidence in Nevada employees.
Okay, yes or no? You speak Japanese?
Yes.
Excellent. Look forward to you coming back on the show, because we've obviously got lots more to talk about.
Yeah, I'd love to come back and talk. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. That's Mark Anderson, Director of Nevada Industry Excellence up at UNR, and we'll be right back.
Nevada Newsmakers is brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Pro Group Management, and the Retail Association of Nevada.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program Randy Thompson. Pleasure to have you here, representing the National Federation of Independent Businesses.
Happy to be here again.
So what did you think of what's come out of Congress, first of all?
I am a little upset with the rather large budget that they passed last week. I guess it was end of January. I was a little surprised at the price tag, but I've heard time and again how our military has really suffered a lot of financial challenges in the sense of just getting parts for planes. I mean, they've got planes that can't fly. We keep hearing these stories. So I understand the reinvestment that they want to make in the military. And in order for that to happen, they had to cut a deal with the Democrats and got increases in social spending. But a $300 billion increase is huge, and it's going to add to the deficit. So I'm very concerned that drunken sailors took over the U.S. Senate a couple weeks ago, and it's only getting worse.
It was a military budget.
It was a military budget, so that's why. At least it was sailors, yes. But
you know what's interesting is, for the entire time I've been interested in politics, I've always been told, to worry about the debt, and we're passing this on to our children and grandchildren. Well, we are the children and grandchildren, and how is it affecting us? And how is it going to affect people down the road? I mean, does inflation not really end up taking care of this?
Well, I think you have to look at the escalation. I mean, when we were kids, the escalation wasn't as big of a deal. Now we're looking at a $20 trillion debt. And what's the concern is the tax payments the interest payments that we're paying on it. And as interest rates are going to be increasing, you're looking at spending $400 trillion just to pay off the debt. So it's like using one credit card to pay off the interest on another credit card. So when we were kids, Sam, the deficit wasn't wasn't that, I mean, the debt wasn't a big deal. For our grandkids, yeah, it is going to be a big deal because they're just not dealing with it. So I'd love to say inflation will help keep it in check. But right now with the interest rates coming up and getting back to normal, 4 and 5% interest rates is normal. We've been living in a fantasy land with this, the quantitative easing that the federal policy has been for the past past decade, really.
If you go back to the Clinton administration, we were actually to the point of paying down the national debt. Mm-hmm. The economy was doing so well. With the economy booming the way it is now, is there the potential for us to get back into a situation like that? Or do we have to worry that the Fed is going to be so concerned about the economy overheating that they put on the brakes?
Well, that's the big concern with the new Fed chair, Powell, who is very much in line with what's been happening in the past. The Atlantic Fed came out a couple weeks ago and said they expect growth to be 5.4%, which is huge.
Huge. So
that would be, and that's one of the reasons I read Mark Amade's statement after voting for the budget, that their belief is that growth is gonna be so strong that these the tax increases that are going to coming into the Fed are going to help really pay off the debt and lower the debt. So that's what we would hope. But I still think we need to put some spending controls in. It's funny now that the president's put forward a new budget, which, by the way, every president's budget's pretty much dead on arrival. It doesn't matter whether it's Trump or Bush or Clinton. Congress is the one that does the budget. And it's been very frustrating. I wrote an article a couple weeks ago that we haven't passed a standalone budget bill. They break it up into departments, Department of Energy, Department of Interior, and they really review those budgets and then they pass them in a small package. We haven't done that since 1996. We just continually fund the entire government in a lump sum of $3 trillion, and then this is a $4 trillion package that the president's putting forward. Until we can really drill down into the budget and really find the waste and abuse and get rid of it, because we know it's there. We need to deal with entitlements. If we're not dealing with Social Security, we're being stupid. So we have got to start tackling some of the spending issues that we've got. We just can't keep kicking the budget over again and again and again, year after year.
Okay, so when you talk about entitlements, there are others that would turn around and say, well, we've been paying for Social Security and Medicare all of our working lives. Mm-hmm. So is it an entitlement or something that we actually invested in and we expect to get in return? And what government is ever going to really cut entitlements to a degree that makes any sense because they'd be voted out of office at the next election cycle?
Well, and I would like to separate Social Security from Medicare and Medicaid and welfare and food stamps.
Well,
Social Security,
I didn't throw in those others.
But it is. But we call Social Security an entitlement, but it really isn't. You and I have been paying into it, and damn it, I want that money when I turn 65. I've earned it. So have my parents. So have our kids that are paying into it. The trouble is, if we don't shore it up, it's going to be gone in 2024. And I think Congress will come in with some last-minute fix. But that aside, we have to look at how we are doling out Medicare, Medicaid, and the welfare programs and the SNAP. I know that Clinton actually put together a welfare to work program that got people off the welfare rolls. President Trump is putting in a suggestion that we do a welfare to work for the food stamp program. If you're able-bodied, you need to work to get food stamps. So we need to put some stopgaps in place.
I think the hardest one that you would have to deal with would be Medicare. I think that would be almost impossible to cut back. And with the way that Medicaid has been expanded, I think that will also be a hill to climb. Yeah. But in the meantime, thank you. I appreciate your input on this.
Yes, now we've got all these problems, but no solutions, once again.
Of course. And that's where we're going to leave it. We'll be right back.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Nearly 200,000 Nevadans work in retail businesses, supporting families and the community. Nevada's retail businesses generated over $2 billion in sales tax revenue in 1 year, including nearly $700 million to help our schools. Shop around and see all that Nevada's retailers offer our state.
We're the Retail Association of Nevada, representing thousands of Nevada businesses.
Businesses that work for Nevada.
so much more to talk about on our next broadcast. We'll see you then.